So I asked you guys, as always, for dumb questions with the dumb questions of the men. This time, I figured since I had so many and so fucking many fucked up Fantastic Four questions, we do one just on comic books, okay? And the number one question people asked me was, does Mr. No, that's next video, This one is the number one question everybody asked me. Please, Ed, give us more of your thoughts on the Thundercats. Okay, so, first of all, you know we're all pretty fucking old. When the main thing that everybody wants to fucking know is my thoughts on a fucking 80s cartoon. Okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm right there with you. You're thinking right here, oh God, is this going to be another video with Ed talking about Lion-O using the sword of omens and it's really him jerking off? And no, it is so much worse than that. It is going to be so much worse than that. Though, once again, I do have to say, there is something wrong with a kid's cartoon that has the main character grabbing a little phallic symbol going, ho, 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 ho! And honestly, Lion-O, like I said in the last video, the red stuff's not supposed to come out with that, okay? I'm just saying, Lion-O, don't worry about the sword of omens, okay? See the doctor penicillin, okay? I think Cheetara might have been doing somebody else. But no, once again, we're not going to talk more about Lion-O. Everybody knows what my thoughts are from the last video where this came up. But honestly, let's talk about some of the other characters. Now, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who are not like old like me, Thundercats was a cartoon in the 80s where these cat-like beings came to Third Earth. As you can see, first of all, very creative, Third Earth. So, we know where it is. And these furries came down and they said, hey, we want to... No, I'm sorry. Thundercat. Hey, furries, okay? Remember, if you go to work, you get overly excited, you wind up going, ho! Just say that you're practicing your religion, which is following Lion-O. Okay? And once again, Ray comes out, get penicillin. But let's talk about some of the other characters. One of the other characters, other than the leader Lion-O, that we keep talking about, and him masturbating with a sword. And hey, we all got our kinks. You have this other character, Tigra. Tigra was always one of my favorites, okay? And Tigra's powers were, first of all, he can turn invisible, which was really cool. And what he did is he had this whip, right, that looked like fucking 3 testicles that he wrapped around himself, okay? And basically what could happen is he would turn himself invisible the second his testicles go around. Now, I don't know about you guys, but honestly, the second too many people see my testicles, I try to get invisible too. So I get it. I do. Once again, not here to kink shame. And basically, he was kind of like one of the scientists. He was great. You have these 2 other characters, Wily Kit and Cat. And, they were the young ones that the guy that could turn invisible and whipped around his testicles like to play with. Okay, so Tiger was basically the priest of the Thundercats, okay? I mean, I'm just saying, listen, testicles of religion. Hey, that would have been a great thing. The testicles of a religion. Oh, wait, no. I think there was something else on Epstein Island, but we're not even going to get to okay. But yeah, this other character, hot fucking cat. Honestly, I have never been more into bestiality than when I first saw Cheetara as a kid. Well, I mean, there was that one time in Tennessee with the pigs and the No, Cousin Larry, no. Don't comment on that, okay? We agreed, okay? We're not going to talk about with you and the pigs, okay? I don't care how drunk I was. I was a little bit tempted, a little, and then you said you were going to make bacon out of them. So, no, I couldn't put it. But like I said, one of the other characters with the Thundercats was Cheetara. This really, really hot chick, and she would run. And it would be great because, even in the 80s, she'd be running, she was sleek, and you couldn't see the boobs going like this, but the boobs were like, at the same time, synchronized, and once again, usually you would have Lion-O looking in the background going, oh, she can make my sword bleed, and her weapon of choice, was it more testicles on a whip? No, she had the string, and she would run on by all the men, all the male opponents, because almost all the opponents were male for at least the first season, and then leap like this, and all of a sudden she had this staff that got really long and hard. Okay, let's face facts. I might have been 10 years old, but yeah, her staff wasn't the only one that was getting long and hard over it. Okay. But honestly, all jokes aside, no. And she was the moral compass of the team. You know, she would always guide Lion-O, always, you know, basically tell Tiger, hey, leave those kids alone, get those testicles off them. Hey, they're not your choir boys. Stop having them, you know, do various things to you. And she'd be there stroking that staff to make sure that everybody knew exactly what she could do. And was she like the prostitute of the team? I'm just that. Listen, I'm all for free sexuality, but you know, pole stroking and just get ask. But then you have this other character, one of the other main characters. Okay, Panthro. And Panthro was the tough guy. Panthro's powers. Okay, Panthro was super, super strong. And honestly, he was a mechanic. You know, he had. Okay, but, you know, he was a mechanic. He was super strong. And he'd be the guy that would be there for a fight that all the white cats would try to be nice to and have him throw the first. Yeah. He was a pissed off black guy. I mean, that was his power, okay? His pissed off power was being the pissed off white guy. Okay, listen. Let's go through the other history so far. Okay, you have one guy whose power is hitting on children, turning invisible, and playing with his 3 testicles. Why do you have 3 testicles? Don't know. Never asked. You have Cheetara, whose main power is running really quick and stroking something off. You have the leader, whose main power is masturbating a sword until red stuff comes out once again. Lion-O, fucking penicillin! Then you had Snarf. Snarf was basically the babysitter for Lion-O until he grew up. You know, he was this little cat lizard. What the fuck was he? I mean, just saying, what the fuck was Snarf? But either way, it doesn't matter. You know, he was just a little character that would always be super annoying. Wait. I just realized something. Every single time Lion-O was in a fight trying to stroke his sword, you would hear a cutaway to, oh, I don't know if Lion-O can handle that. I think Snarf's power is being the voyeur. Because I'm pretty sure he's, you know, Lion-O's getting in trouble. He's going to Cheetara. Oh, Cheetara, I don't know if you can handle that. Why don't you bring your staff-stroking self over there? Oh, and Tiger, hey, Lion-O can't help that. Turn invisible and play with both your balls. And you'd have Panthro in the back. What's going on? We're white people now. So, a little bit racist, really, you know, if you think about it. But, hey, fuck it. It was the 80s. And then lastly, you had the mentor who died the first episode, who showed up as a Force ghost. Basically, this guy called Jaga. And he was Lion-O's guide. It was Lion-O's guide. And basically the only thing Jaga ever did was, bitch, just go fight this guy. And who were they fighting? Well, they had the ultimate enemy. The enemy called Mumm-Ra. Okay? A mummy. Wrapped up in drapes. Wearing a robe. And only showed his power when he cried for the ancient spirits of evil to give him power. And then all of his clothes came out. So yeah, essentially you got the villain who's flashing the guy who's jerking off, blood's coming out, against the woman who's stroking her staff to make it hard while she's running fast. and the guy who's hitting on children while playing with 3 of his testicles and turning invisible. You know, you think maybe they should have just called it Epstein Island? You know, early debut of the furries, maybe?